Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live on Thursday, April 15th at 7 p.m. Central Time. And we're going to get zoomed in here a little bit the way it looks. So these are our Easter or our spring rabbits from our March box of Hop Into Spring. And we've been, we color washed them, and then we've been working on our girl. So we will continue on our girl tonight. So I hope everyone had a great week. So we have her with our, we were as far as number, let's see. On our instructions, we were as far as number 5. So we'll put a drop of azalea on our palette, and I just use aluminum foil so I can roll it up and throw it out, and I don't have to scrape and clean on a tile. So we have OS 559 azalea, and we're just going to need a drop of that because we're going to add a little bit of white to it, and then just dry brush a little bit to highlight our apron. And I have OS 431 white, and we just want a lighter shade than what we dry brushed the apron with. We'll go about, it's a little more than half and half, but that's okay, just as long as it's lighter. And I'm using a palette knife, which it's better to use the palette knife than your brush to mix your paint so you don't break your bristles off. And I think the palette knife was in our January box probably as our tool for the month. And so I have that mixed up, and you always want to make sure you mix up enough because it's hard to match a color after you've mixed it. So we have that mixed up, and now I'm going to use a dry brush, and it looks like I probably used this number 3 last time, so I have a flat number 3, and I'm going to get a little bit of my lightened azalea. We didn't have a pink that was close to this color, so that's why we're making our own highlight color. So, and we're just going to dry brush across the top of our little straps here and highlight those where the whittling look is. And then we'll just kind of dry brush, and when you have streaks like that, you have too much paint in your brush, so I brush that out. You want it to go on real soft looking, you don't want brush marks like that. But we'll highlight the rest of it a little bit more and build that up so we blend that in. And I'm kind of just going around the buttons because we don't need to highlight those. We'll be painting those a different color. And we'll just brush lightly back and forth across our whittling on our apron. And just highlight that. So I hope everyone had a good week. Let's see. I haven't gotten to ask Courtney if everyone's boxes were delivered or not, but Courtney says she hasn't checked either. We had a few late purchases, so those will be going out. I brought her some bisque today. And we're working on our next box. So we'll have that next week. I'll have those, the painted one to show you. And then we have extra pieces that will fit in the box that kind of go with that May box. So I'll try to get those painted this weekend and have those as well next Thursday. We're just lightening up that bib here a little bit, or her apron, just to give it a little more character. And then you want to come around the back and do the neckline of that apron as well. And it doesn't take a whole lot. We actually did the most of it last week already. So let's see, our next box is Boris and the mushroom. I gotta think, am I telling them right, Cordy? Oh yeah, because that's our May box, and your April box that shipped is the bee fairy house, and then Ava and Eva, the twins, and I actually didn't bring them with me tonight to show you guys. I didn't really think of it. But that's what we'll be working on hopefully by the end of next week. So we have our apron all highlighted, and then number 6 is to paint azalea on the buttons, and then the thread is white, so I'm just going to take a little drop of azalea here, which is again OS 559. I'm going to take one of my liner brushes. This is the Royal Majestic 4595. And I'm just going to paint my buttons with azalea. You could paint them any color if you wanted. They don't have to be that pink color. I just kind of like to stay with the same color as the apron. And then they'll stand out because the apron's been highlighted. And we're just painting those guys in. And I'll wash out my brush, and now we're going to take a touch of white and put a little line across there for the string that's holding the buttons on, and that would be OS 431 white. And I'm just going to draw a line across each button with the white, and we can wash that out. So the next thing is to do the carrot. So since both bunnies have a carrot, we're actually going to switch now to our boy bunny, because then we can do the carrot at the same time. We'll use those same colors. So we have a question, can we order a second box of bisque anytime, or do we need to order it when we are doing the monthly box? You can order it at any time if we have it. Oh, I see what she's talking, any other bisque.
Subscribers can anytime, it's just the flat.
So Cordy says our subscribers, you can order any time that you want an additional box of bisque. That's to get the $9.99 flat rate shipping. If that is for the subscribers, it doesn't have to be when you do your monthly box. So if you're ready to get another box of bisque, maybe you have some things picked out, you can go ahead and send Courtney a message, and she'll gather up what you want. Courtney says we do have a few ladies that are doing that right now too. So, yep, Talisa, that works. As long as you're a subscriber, we will do that offer for you, and I believe you are a subscriber too. So, I know Courtney's better with the names than I am, but I do remember your name. So, just give Courtney us a message, and she will take care of you. So let's see. Denise says she enjoyed doing the bunnies. That's good. Wanda got her box last weekend. Gail says hi. Marianne says hi. Linda says hi. So, hello to everyone too again. And we are working on our bunnies. So now we're going to switch to our Nathan bunny, and I'm going to go to my instructions that was in this in the box. And we have number 1 was to color wash him, which we already did with our mocha brown. Number 2 was to dry brush his fur, which we did that. So now we are going to dry brush his shirt with medium blue and then baby blue. So that is number 3, so that's where we're at. So we're going to go to medium blue, which is OS 457, medium blue. So we have a question of when we're going to start on the fairies. Hopefully next week. I'm not sure though. We'll have to see how we get going here tonight. For sure, I would think the next Thursday, if not the middle. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to finish these guys up next week, so I'm hoping like in the middle of the halfway through we can switch to the we'll be done and we can get on to the fairies. So we need to do our shirt now, and it's kind of a little area. It's not too big of an area, and I have my 3 brush has pink in it, but I have another one here that's a 3 as well. It's a flat, so I'm going to go to that one just because it's such a little area. And I just want to dry brush his little shirt here. And if we get it on the pants, that's okay, because the navy is a darker color and it'll cover it up once we get to the navy part for his bibs. So I'm just using our medium blue and kind of going in the little areas where his little shirt is here. And we'll just work our way right around, starting in the front and then going to the back. A lot of times I like to start in the back, especially if it's the face area, and then come to the front. But the shirt I'm okay with starting with the front and working around. So I don't want a really big size 10 brush to do this little area. I want something smaller, like a 3 or a 5, because there's not a whole lot of area here. If we took that big brush, we'd have our medium blue all over, and we really don't want it all over. So I'm just brushing, since it's such a smooth area, instead of going back and forth, I do more of a comma or a backwards comma or a C-stroke, I like to call it. So it's just kind of blends that paint right down onto the piece. And so we'll just work our way right around him. If it comes on real wet like that, you got to brush your brush out. That's too much paint at one time for dry brushing. We want it to go on in nice thin layers and then build it up. That's what gives us our nice shading. So I have a nice coat on his arm here now, so we're going to go to his shirt. And it's okay if we get it on his suspenders. Our navy color will cover that up. And we'll just do each area. Don't forget the collar up here on his shirt. And I'm just going up and down on there. I'm not doing big strokes up and down because I don't want to get my medium blue all over his white. If you get some on there, you can still go back and touch it up. So we'll just build up one layer all the way around. And then kind of let it dry, and then when we come back around, it'll take it better. So let's see, it looks like Courtney took care of a few messages that you guys had, so. Courtney asked if it's showing her comments. Yeah, I see Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque as a comment, so you put Patty Holtz Pedersen, I need to send your invoice yet? Yeah, so huh? Oh, I can see it. Courtney has stuffed up sinuses, so she thinks she's got allergies, so she's actually in the other room tonight, just in case it's not, but she usually gets allergies this time of the year, so she's sitting in the living room so I don't get it in case it's not, so. The show must go on. So let's see, we've had rain, I think, every day since last week, you guys, and it's really wet here. It went from really dry with fire bans, no burning, to there's water everywhere. So we're just dry brushing our medium blue on our shirt here. And for our first layer, you can usually still see through it. You're not doing a real heavy layer. You're just getting a nice first coverage layer. And then you just keep building up those layers, just working your way back around several times to get a nice color of the blue. So now I'm back around to my front, and I'm just gonna just go back around again. I'll start up here on the collar where we started originally. And I'm just brushing really light, or fairly light, I should say. I think we're supposed to, and it's been cooler too. It's been in the, kind of in the 40s. I think it actually made 50 today, but it seemed really cool because the sun wasn't out at all. And I think they said 55 for the weekend, so I need a little more of our medium blue. So I'll grab some of that and brush it out, and then come back to my piece and brush nice and light here. You can see how that's built up color now compared to our first layer here. And so we'll go around 2 or 3 times and build that up, letting our mocha brown down in those crevices for our shading, which gives our piece lots of dimension to it by doing that. So let's see, do we have any questions? Oh, so Carrie thought she had allergies and she had pneumonia. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, you never know. So hopefully it's just allergies. There's lots of trees blooming and There's more blooming down here by Courtney than there is up by me. I noticed there's magnolia trees around the corner from her that are blooming. One's really, really pretty pink one and a white one. And then the hyacinths and daffodils. It's kind of full bloom here for her. Trees are getting leaves already. We kind of had a really warm spell and then it kind of cooled off here a little bit. And the grass, I see some people have been cutting their grass already because the grass grew so much. And I'm not ready for cutting grass yet for the year. Although I don't have much at my house to cut. So I'm just working my way back around our little bunny here, getting his shirt all nice and covered with our medium blue. And I can still see through it just a little bit yet, so we'll come back around another time. We'll let this layer dry, just like we did that first layer, and just keep building it up. I'm trying to hold him nice and solid so he's not jerking and hard to see on the camera here. So just doing each little area of his little shirt here. And then we'll just work our way back around to the front and then work our way back around again. So you can see we're leaving that brown down in all those crevices. And that's our shading color for our depth. So let's see, we had some new shelves added to the classroom so we could add more paint. What else is going on? Pouring for the boxes, pouring for the classroom. Huh? Storage unit, I haven't had much time to work on that yet to get stuff moved out of the house and garage to there, but that'll probably be next week with a little bit of luck. So, working on a class for the first weekend in May, probably Sunday at the classroom. I think it's going to be a snail with mosaic glass on it, so hopefully we can tie up the loose ends with that here. So we're working my way around my bunny, getting his medium blue, a nice coverage all the way around wherever his shirt is. And we'll have to come around one more time, let this dry, and work our way back around one more time. Need to get in the flower beds at the classroom, but we haven't had time for that at all. And then it was really warm in the 70s, and then it dropped now to the 40s, so hopefully that slows things down a little bit so we can get some of the stuff from last year cut back yet and pulled out before everything's 2 feet tall. Okay, so we're back around to our front and we'll get a little more of our medium blue. And now I can still see through my blue in areas. So I want to do one more. I'm going to go one more time around just to get a nice coverage with that medium blue on the main surfaces, just letting that mocha brown down in the crevices. So that's usually one question everyone has is this enough? So when I look at this, I can still see our mocha brown through our blue on our main area here. It's okay that it's down in the crevices, that's what we want. But when you look at this main area, I don't really want to see the mocha brown through it. I want a good coverage of the medium blue, and I just want that mocha brown down in the crevices. So that's usually where I'm telling someone a little bit more, and that's why we got that little quote up on the wall. So we're going to give him just a little bit more here, one more time around. And so now when I look at this sleeve, I really can't see that mocha brown through that blue just by doing that one more layer. So that's was always one of the harder things for me to learn when I learned dry brushing. It didn't never look quite right, and it was always because it really needed just that little bit more more of that solid coverage on your big main areas, and not seeing your base coat or your color wash through your dry brush color, and just having it down in those crevices. So again, when I look at this sleeve, and hopefully I'm bringing it up where you can see it, I can see brown through this blue yet, so that's what we don't want. We want that little bit more of our medium blue on there, on that big main area. It's fine that you can see the mocha through where the crevices are, because that's the shading, and that is where you want it to be. But we want to build it up a little bit more on this main area of the sleeve, so we're not seeing it through that main area there. So hopefully you can see that. It's not much, but it's enough that it just makes it look more complete. We'll come back and get a little more on the back here. And a little more on his collar. Okay, so now when I look at it, I really can't see the brown through the big areas of my blue, so that tells me it's good. And I'm just going to go one more time around just to look to make sure. Huh? I think Gordy says, I have a question. How do I like my new haircut? The new haircut's okay. It's not like the picture because it's just a bob with a short straight hair, but I don't have straight hair, so it's curling up now that the weight has been taken off. Since the length is gone, it's going to get curly on me. But I wanted a wash and go haircut that was cooler. And just a wash and go, so I can wash and go. So I can make it straight by straightening it with a flat iron, but I don't want that. I don't have time for that. So we're gonna go with our wash and go curls and suck it up and just go with it. But the hair, it's a lot lighter and it's a lot cooler, so it has achieved its purpose. Which it was so heavy and hot, I just couldn't take it anymore. So it was time to get it cut, but it hadn't been cut since a year ago in December because my appointment was that February, and then the shops got closed down because of COVID, so I haven't been back to get a haircut other than cutting my own bangs. So it was time to get it cut. So it can always grow out if I don't like it, but I think it'll be fine. I can tuck it behind my ears and go. So we'll see. So let's see. So we have our medium on our shirt, and now we're going to go to baby blue. So we have our OS 456 baby blue, and we're going to give that a shake. And we'll get a little pile of that. And I'm going to use my same dirty brush because it's in the blue family. And get a couple, dip in there a couple times and work that into the brush, and then brush it out on my paper towel till there's hardly anything coming out. And again, I'm just going to start here on the collar and kind of dry brush it a little bit. It'll kind of highlight it. And we'll work our way around. And it's okay if it gets on his bibs or the carrot. We'll be doing those with navy anyway, so you can just highlight it, or you can actually build it up so that the shirt's actually more of a pastel baby blue, and that's kind of what I did. So we'll probably go around here a couple times too to build up our baby blue, leaving the navy maybe about 25% of the navy, or a third. Or not the navy, the medium blue, sorry. I'm thinking pants already. So we'll just work our way right around. And I'm just brushing fairly light so it doesn't go on too heavy. And I think I'm going to move this light because it seems to be shadow. come back to our painting here and just dry brush away with our 3 flat. And it doesn't matter if you're using a flatter around, you just don't want like a big size 10. It'll take up too much area and you'll have baby blue everywhere. So Courtney had the sirens going for her city did the tornado warning, and she said they did it during the day and now they did it at home at night for the kids too. So they know what to do when they're at home as well as at school, so that's kind of cool. So we're just going to build up our baby blue here. And we're going to get the collar and his elbow and right onto his back. So if you're looking, if you're coming out to the classroom, we have butterflies on the trees now instead of shamrock. So you can look for some butterflies on the trees if you're looking to find us. And I know that's been really helpful for a few people, so look for the butterflies. We are the big white house with the burgundy shutters. So we're just going to build up our baby blue here, work our way right around. Get in all those little areas where the little suspenders are crisscrossing. And then work our way right around to the arm. I see Courtney's daylilies must be about a foot tall already down here. Mine are probably 6 or 7 inches. It's kind of amazing that just an hour's drive makes that much of a difference. We're just dry brushing our baby blue on our medium blue, which is our light color. Our medium blue was our, I would say, our middle color, and our mocha brown is our dark color. So we have our 3 shades of color, light, medium, and dark. Just going to build up our baby blue here on his sleeve. I think my brush is dying here the way it looks. And we'll see if we can make it through the end of this guy. So we're working our way around to the front. So we're going to come back up here to the collar, get this collar to match the collar on the other side. Just making little strokes so I'm not getting my baby blue all over my white. And then down to his front of his shirt and the arm of his shirt here yet a little more. And we'll turn him so you can see all the different directions you can look at. You can see you do have to move your piece around into different angles so you can get all the little areas. So don't be afraid to move it. Don't feel like you have to hold it in one area or one direction. If you need to flip him around so his head is opposite of what it was, just flip it around so you can get those paint worked in there. So now that's really light, so that was too much in my brush. I got to brush out that brush on the paper towel, and now I got to work that baby blue in there to kind of even that out. And I'm getting right on the rim of his sleeve, but I'm not trying not to get it on his hand. We can come back and touch up his hand. And we'll even go around his little collar here again. So now we'll flip him back around. Get in that little area there and back around the collar. And then there's a little triangle in there. You want to get just a little bit in there as well. So does everybody have their bunnies all painted already? Has anyone started on their bumblebee houses already? You see, we're still looking. I'm trying to decide what to do for our July box. And I did call today to get the spattering tool for our June box. And no one has them, so I actually called the company that makes them, which is actually right here in Kimberly, down by Courtney here. And they've discontinued it, then they're no longer making it. So I think I'm going to be getting the fan brushes that Michael Harbridge used on his video for spattering. You can use that. A toothbrush works well too, but I think we're going to try to get that stiff fan brush because that works really well too, since we cannot get the spattering tool anymore, that they've discontinued making it, which is unfortunate. Was just a little tool with a little wooden knob with a screw in it, and you could turn it and it spattered for you. And a toothbrush works too, but I was just trying to give you guys another, like a tool in your little toolbox. But the stiff fan brush will work nicely as well, so that's what we're trying to see if we can get enough of those now. Okay, so we have our baby blue done. He's looking pretty good. So then we are now going to dry brush his bibs navy. So I have my OS 460 navy, and we're going to shake that up, and we'll get a drop of that. Maybe. So it gets plugged here on me. We'll get some navy. And I'm actually going to go to a little bit bigger brusher because we have a little bit bigger area. And let's see, I'll go with my, what is this? This is a 5 flat brush. And I need some new paper towel. So I have my 5 flat, and I'm going to just brush it out here on my paper towel, and now we can brush our bibs with our navy. And when I have the edge here and I don't want to get my baby blue all full of my navy, I start away from it and then work up towards the shirt. That way I can see right where my navy's going on and I'm not getting it all over my shirt. When you get to the straps here, you can actually switch to a smaller brush if you have one. And we're just going to brush back and forth here on the big area. And it's okay if you get it on the carrot and the watering can, because those colors will cover that up. So let's see, Lisa says, since this is our first box of fairies, should we get started early, or do you prefer that we work along with you? It's totally up to you, Lisa. Some people like to work along, some people do theirs as soon as they get them, and they'll even post pictures for us to see. But it's totally up to you. We did provide the written instructions now in our box that started kind of in the middle of last year, because we did have people that didn't want to wait. And the instructions are usually step by step as how I painted them when I was making the sample. So you shouldn't really have any trouble. I try to do it step by step. You know, a couple times I've missed a step just because I forget to write it down when I'm painting, but I've gotten better at that. But it's totally up to you. If you feel comfortable and you want to paint at your leisure. And if you feel you want to paint along with us, that's great too, if you want to paint along. So I know a few of the ladies paint along. I don't know that everyone does. And then even if you can't paint like on Thursday night and you want to paint along, the videos are saved under the video tab, so you can still bring them up and paint along at your own time. Say if you work PM shift or something, or kids got stuff going on and you can't paint along or watch, they are saved, so you can always go back at another day, maybe you're camping or something and you're bored and it's rainy, you have internet service and you have your stuff along, you can paint away. So hopefully that helps. And then our videos, so we've been at this almost, it'll be 2 years in July, so I think almost all the videos are saved under the video tab, and no, I'm not 100% sure because Facebook did a business page update, so, but I do think they're all there. I'll have to ask Courtney. And then, Courtney says that they're all there. They're not all on YouTube though, because she didn't get all of them uploaded to YouTube, but a lot of them are on YouTube as well. So if you, Courtney said if the audio wasn't good, she didn't upload them to YouTube. We had a few nights that we had not such good audio, so then those won't be on YouTube, but otherwise they are on our Brenda's Brush or Strokes and Bisque on Facebook under the video tab, and they go back all the way to the beginning. So if you're looking for a good laugh, maybe you can go back and look at the first ones we did when we were practicing and trying to talk to myself. But it's gotten better, so they are there. So there's actually a lot of reference there if you want to go back and watch them, because I know new people are finding us all the time, so they're there and you can go back and listen to them or watch them. So now I kind of did my big areas with my bigger brush here, so I'm actually going to switch now to my little brush. I have another number 3 flat, and I like the flat because I can turn them on their edge and have an even finer brush. So now for his little straps, I want to use a number 3, so I'm not getting my navy all over his baby blue shirt. And I'm just going to brush back and forth and kind of turn him to the back as we get further along the strap. And I'm brushing pretty light so I can see where that paint is going on, so that I'm not getting it onto his shirt. If we get some onto his shirt, that's okay. You can always go back and touch it up. No, don't ever feel bad that you mess something up, because most things are fixable, even if you have to go back and paint the whole thing brown again. There's nothing wrong with that. You can learn, and things can be fixed. I'm just brushing back and forth on his little suspenders here. And then I can see I want to bring my navy up a little bit further, closer to his shirt here. I'm just going to use the edge of my flat brush and start away from the edge and work it down into that crevice a little bit to kind of cover that, where all that baby blue is actually on his bibs, but it covered up the brown. We're just going to work the navy down into there. And even on our bibs, we want to turn it on the side here so I can get that side a little bit. So you can see I just got that edge just a little bit, and that makes his little bibs his little straps look better by not having that baby blue on there. Kind of because they're dimensional. And we're going to work our way around the top here. And I'm just brushing fairly light. Just brushing back and forth. And we'll come along his arm. And we'll come back to our strap. And I'm just doing little strokes so I can see where that navy's going on. Actually onto the piece and not getting it all over. And again, I'm going to flip him around so I can get the bottom side of his little strap here. And we'll get the bottom side of this other one, because it is covered with the baby blue from the shirt. And we'll come right around to the front. And I'm not trying to cover the brown, I'm just trying to cover the baby blue that got onto the pants. So now I can turn that flat brush on his edge to get in this little corner here. And then we can work it right up to his watering can, right up to the top of the shirt area there. And along the edge here of the bibs on the side. So I just start away from that side and just nudge it slowly down into that crevice. Same with the top up here. And we'll come under this arm. So I don't want to do big back and forth strokes here because I don't want my navy all over my baby blue shirt. So I'm just going right along the edge, kind of where that brown and the blue meet. And we'll do the same thing with his, where the pants are. We don't want to do those big strokes again. I'm just going to use my little brush, and I can brush. I start on the edge, kind of on the rounded part, and I just slowly move towards it, and I can see that that blue is getting down into that where the deepest part is there, where the brown is, and I want to leave the brown showing. So I stop when I have that little edge of brown down in there. But I've covered up my white that got on the pants when we were dry brushing the white part. And we'll do that all the way around the bottom of our pants. If we did big strokes back and forth, we'd have navy all over our white, and we'd have to come back and touch that up. Which you can do that too. Just see I have navy on the edge there, so we'll have to do it there. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So we can see we have that darker brown, our brown down in that deepest area. We want to leave that, so I start away from it, brush back and forth with my brush standing straight up on its edge so I can see right where that paint is going. Now I can see I'm almost close enough, and I'll go just a little bit further, and now I just have my brown left down in that little crevice. And we'll work our way right up to the carrot. Excuse me. So that's kind of how I do my edges. We can kind of line, excuse me, along our carrot here without getting his hand all full of navy. And it's okay if we get it on the carrot and on the watering can, because we'll touch that up, and you always want to get your bottoms as well. You want those looking good. Okay, so he's looking pretty good. I can go back to my bigger brush now. And I don't wash that little brush out because I'm not done with it. I just lay it to the side until I need it again. And we'll get some more navy. So now when I look at this, it's all blotchy. There's real thin here. It's heavy here. I can see brown here. We don't want that. We want a nice even covering of our navy, and we just want our brown down in our crevices. So we're going to build up another layer of our navy on there and get that nice and even. Huh? So we have a question, do I like my haircut? The haircut's okay. I have natural curls, so it's not straight like the picture shows it, but I knew that when I got it cut, so we'll just have to go with it. It's easy, it's just a wash and go. I don't have to dry it or curl it or straighten it. I could straighten it if I wanted it to, then it would look more like the picture, but wash and go is kind of what I need. So that's what we got. It's a lot lighter because I have really thick, heavy hair. So does Courtney. So it was too hot last week when it was 70 degrees out. Even in a ponytail, it felt like it was attached right to my head. So it's like, oh, some of this hair has got to go. So away it went today. So you can see now our navy's getting a lot nicer coverage here. When we look where we just put our navy, it's more even. When we look here where we're going, you can see there's lots of brown coming through, and that's what we're working on, building that up so we have a nice even coverage. We're just letting our brown down in our crevices for our shading. So you can see it goes pretty easy. It doesn't take a whole lot. So now with a flat brush, because even though it's wide, I can turn it on its edge to do this. His little suspender, since we did the edges with the little brush, I can kind of just get the middle with the big brush. So we will keep going here. I do have it tickling me in the ear though, because it's kind of right at ear length, and I can tuck it behind my ears. And I think when it comes out from behind my ears, it's kind of tickling my ears, so I'll have to get used to that, I guess. And then because it was so long and heavy, the like the hair was pulled, so Leslie said when she cut it now, the curl will come back to the shorter part of it now too, because all that weight was on the top part of it. So the curl, it's actually going to get curlier than what it was when she finished, which it's already done that. I already noticed the difference in a couple hours, so. Curls are okay. You can just wash and go with them. You don't have to do too much, which is what I need. I don't have a whole lot of time. Kind of past the curling iron and blow drying stage of my life. We're just dry brushing our navy on here, getting it a nice even coat. Letting it down in the crevices, or the brown down in the crevices, and getting just a nice even coat of navy on our whole piece so I could see through it right here yet. Well, and so now I did get some of my navy on my white. That's okay. You can, if you want to let that dry really well, and then you can come back and dry brush the white over it, but we'll do that at the end. So I'm actually going to go back to my little brush and do the edges of these suspenders yet, because I can see baby blue on them yet. So that's why I don't wash that brush out until I'm completely done, because then it would be wet and you wouldn't be able to dry brush with it. So I just lay it aside until I'm done. Unless it's going to be several hours, then I would wash it out. So I'm just going to do our edges again with the little brush. Work it around, and then I can show you a little trick too. I notice I have the blue or down in the brown completely covering it up, so I can actually show you what you can do to fix that. So we'll take our medium mocha, and I think we were going to do that one other time and didn't really show you guys that. We just take your medium mocha. Anytime your color wash, if you fill it in too much, so I don't know if you can see that, but right there our navy is down and the baby blue is down in the crevice, and we kind of lost our crevice. Although it's not bad on here, you could leave it, but just to show you what you can do, we'll take a drop of whatever your base coat or color wash color was. So ours was mocha, and I have that on my palette, my foil. And then I'm going to I just take my liner brush. This is the 4595. I'm not sure if it's a 10-0 liner, I don't remember. And I'm going to add some drops of water to my medium mocha. And I'm going to actually make almost a watercolor of it. So I'm just thinning it with some drops of water. And once it gets to the point on your foil where you can basically see the foil through the color, it's pretty thin. Then I touch my paper towel so I don't have too much. And now you can take your brush and you can lay that mocha back down in that crevice with your liner brush, and you can build it up with by doing it a couple times rather than getting too much at once by going with the straight mocha. So that's how you can put your color back into your crevices if you completely lose it. So here we have all blue in this crevice. So I'll just take my medium mocha that's been thinned and run that liner brush along there a couple times, and that'll build that back up and cover that up where we have all our dry brushing color on it. So you can see just that easily you can put your color back into your crevices. And not that I would do that on every one of these, but just to show you that that's how you can do that. You just thin your base coat or your water color wash color, and then just use a liner brush, and you can bring it right back in just by lining it out like that. So I wanted to show you guys that one other time, and I think I kind of forgot. But you can just build it up, come back a couple times, and that will build it up, rather than putting it too strong at one time. And you can go wherever you want with it, wherever you might have washed it out too much. Let's see, where else can we go just to show you. Even like along his little bibs here is kind of a lot of navy right there. So you can just take that mocha on a liner and just build it back up. Let's see where else, maybe here. So you can put that right back in just by doing that. So that's just a little tip for adding your colored wash color back in. Just thin it a little bit and then use the liner and go in those little lines. And that puts it right back in. Okay, so that's your little tip for the night. So let's see. Wanda says hers has been cut since March of 19. Well, there you go. Mine was December of 19. And I usually have to go every 6 weeks because it grows so fast. So, but mine is so thick. It's like two ponytails for a lot of people. It's not thin and fine hair. It's heavy, thick hair, which it gets hot then. So, Paula's with short hair too. Yeah, short hair. I like long hair, but when it gets to be 80 degrees out and humid, too much short hair. Okay, so now we're going to dry brush our bibs to highlight them with our bright blue. So we have our OS 459 bright blue, and we're going to give that a shake. And we're going to get a drop of that. Or two. And we'll use our same navy brush. And just kind of work that into our brush a couple times. I usually don't change colors when I'm in or brushes when I'm in the same color family. If I was changing to red or green, I would actually change brushes. But since we're in the same color family with the blue, we're just going to use the same dirty brush. And now we're going to kind of highlight our bibs. We don't want to like cover the whole thing. We're just kind of getting the whittled areas, those lines where we want to get those with our blue. Now that was a lot of blue, so I'll have to actually highlight all of it kind of like that. So if you have too much in your brush, you get a lot at once, and that's not what you want. But we will work it in. And I'm just brushing fairly lightly again. Brushing across those little whittled bibs of his. You want to brush that brush out really good. You don't need to grab a whole lot of paint when you go to get your paint. You only need just a touch of paint on that brush each time. Otherwise, you're just wiping it all out on the paper towel or paper plate and wasting it. So just get a little bit to start out with. Don't go in there and get all kinds of paint. And then brush it all on the paper towel. You don't have to do that. Just grab a little bit. We're going to work our way around our bibs here. Right up to our watering can. Kind of turn him so you can see him. So I usually just touch the edge of my paint. I don't go right in the middle and scoop all kinds of paint. I'm just getting a little bit on that brush just to dampen it a little bit, and then brushing it out on the paper towel, and then coming onto my piece and brushing, and you don't want to have a big wet spot. You just want to have this nice even area of color. And we'll brush it out. Can turn the brush on its side to get the suspenders. We'll probably come back with the littler brush. And we'll just keep working our way around. So when you have a big old wet spot like that, somewhere there was too much paint in that brush, so I got to brush that out really well. And now we got to try to even that out on his bibs. Just brushing away here, getting those bibs kind of that blue jean look. A little bit more springy look instead of the dark blue. And so I do make those bigger strokes because there's bigger area here. I don't have to worry about getting the blue onto the white bunny or onto the shirt. So when you have that bigger area, you can make those bigger brush strokes, so back and forth or up and down. But when you get now back up here to his little shirt, I gotta switch back to those littler strokes so I'm not getting paint all over. And then I have to do a lot of touch up. So I actually have my brush turned on its side going along those bibs. I don't have it the wide way. I have it turned on its edge. Okay, we'll come back around. And now we're going to switch to the little brush so we can do those littler areas. Again, I got to brush that out, work that color in there a little bit. So now again with my flat brush, I can turn it on its edge. So now I can see that's really wet there, so I got to brush that out better. So we're just going to lightly touch that and kind of get that top edge of his bib, get those straps. And just kind of work your way right around to the back. And then the other strap. So Denise says, what color are you brushing his pants with? I'm using OS 459 bright blue. It's Duncan's bright blue over the top of the navy. And I have my brush turned on its side so I can get on those little straps without getting his shirt all full of bright blue. And then I'm going to take that brush and go right along the edge as well and not do those big brush strokes back and forth. Just kind of go right along the edge of his top of his pants here, where the shirt is. And if you start away, you can see that that's real shiny and wet, and then I can work towards it and I can see exactly how much where that paint is going. I'm going to leave a little bit of the navy because that's going to give me my shading going into that crevice there. And we come right back around the front, and we'll do the same thing on the front here around the water can and across the top where his shirt is. So it's kind of a littler area, so we'll get in there with this littler brush. So sometimes you do have to change brush sizes. It's not always a one size fits all, especially when you're doing these little more detailed pieces. So that's looking pretty good. I think we'll do one more layer of our bright blue here on his cuffs. I want them a little bit lighter, especially across the top here. That's where the light would be hitting up more. You can leave that underside a little bit darker because that would be shaded under there. Okay, so Courtney says we got a question. Are you going to show us the plaid technique on the shirt tonight? Let's see what happens after our blue here. Take a That's actually not, we're probably not going to get to that tonight because we'll do our, I kind of did that last. So I didn't have to touch it up. Like that was the last thing, one of the, towards the end that we do. So I don't know that we'll get to it tonight. Because I don't want to have to touch up after it's plaid. So that I kind of did the plaid last. We'll see how we're doing. Let's see, what time is it? What time is it, Courtney? 8? Yeah, we probably won't get to the plaid tonight. So we have, I couldn't get the plaid right. I had to do stripes. I mean, I can show you, I guess I can show you how, as long as we're that far, but I tended to do it last so that I didn't have to touch it up. So I'll touch up our navy here quick that's on our blue. Huh? I'm just going to touch up where the navy got on our blue shirt here. And then we can do the plaid, because that's probably what you guys need more help with than anything. But I didn't do it till the end just so that I didn't have to touch it up, touch up. Let's see, that looks pretty good. Just want to touch up any navy that's on our shirt. Okay, so let's see. I painted mine green like the flyer. Okay. And Clara says, will you be doing last year's box for the months so we could add to our box? I like May and June's box last year. Let's see, what was May and June? What was May and June, Courtney? I don't remember. Oh, frogs and dragonflies, yeah. Well, so like the Boris the gnome that's coming for May, he kind of can sit by your mushroom from your box last year. So they're not actually part of that set because the set was really just the mushrooms. Huh? Oh, can you get the bisque from last year? Yep, you can get the bisque from last year if that's what you want. You can just let Courtney know that you want last year's bisque. Anytime you want the bisque, because I have the mold, so I can pour them. We may not be able to do like the whole box. Like you may not be able to get June's box or July's boxes because we don't have the extras that go in those boxes because they probably sold out. But you can always get the bisque from the boxes. You just have to let us know. So let's go to the plaid just so you guys can see that part of it. But normally I would have finished the rest of him before I did that. So we are going to go to number 10. We're going to take our bright blue. So I'm going to put my bright blue down. And you don't need a whole lot to do this, but you want to have enough. And then we are going to take our thin end shade, which was your extra in your box. So this is a product that thins your paint, but it doesn't make it more transparent. It still stays opaque. And another thing that it can be used for is, so like when I add this to our bright blue, it's still going to be bright blue. It's not going to change it to a lighter blue. It'll still be our bright blue color. And the other thing it does is it keeps the paint open longer. So say you're painting flowers and you want to blend colors together, or you're painting leaves and you want to blend colors together. It keeps the paint from drying instantly. So this is a really cool product to have. So that's why we did it as the extra in your box. And we're just going to start by using it. And we may use it in the future too. So you don't want to add a ton of this. You're only going to use a drop of it, literally. And it's better than water because water would actually thin the paint and make it more transparent like it did with the mocha. So that was actually good that I did that. So this isn't going to thin the paint as far as the transparency. It's just going to thin it as far as the liquid thicker thinness of it. And that makes the paint flow better out of your liner brush. So now we are going to go, so I just have a liner brush, and you just want a nice liner brush. This is the 4595. A lot of you have a liner that you got last year. Let me see, which one was that? Was it the 3995? No. You got a liner brush like last July as part of the Christmas in July. I think that was our gift to you guys. I'm not sure which one it was here. 595. That's 250. So anyway, you can use your liner brush that you got last Christmas in July, but I'm just going to use this one because it's the one I have out. So now you want to load your liner brush, and to do that, I pull it through my paint and I turn it like a quarter turn, and that fills those bristles up with paint, and it puts a nice point on your brush. So I'm actually drawing it through the paint, and I'm turning it in my fingers like a quarter of a turn clockwise, and that's putting a nice point on my brush, but it's also loading those bristles full of paint so you can go further. So from there, I just came to my piece, and I think I went vertical with our stripes, and then I just spaced them like more than a quarter of an inch, but less than a half an inch. And I just keep going back and getting paint. I push down and pull it towards me, and then I lift. And like that. Now that one's a little bit thinner on top, so I can come back and widen it out a little bit. And I just worked my way all the way around his collar, doing that about that same spacing. And I'm just going down. I'm going to come back and give this one a little more paint. So you can see the paint flows really nice with that thinning shade in it, but it's still the same bright blue. It's not transparent, so I can't see the baby blue through it. So that's what's nice about the thinning shade instead of using water. If I used water, the paint would be transparent, and it may take more more times of doing those lines, and you probably only want to do those lines once the way it is without coming back and doing them several times. So I just worked my way right around. I like to rest my painting hand on my piece. I know some people like to keep that little finger free, but I like to anchor it down. So that's just personal preference. And we're just I just worked my way right around. And I when I come now to the front here, I don't worry about where it's ending. I'm going to still have that same spacing, and however much space is left is fine. And then I actually turn it around, and I come back from the other way. So I have nice starting lines as well. So they're kind of nice and square. Because there's it's not a flat surface, so it's a little bit hard to get down in there when you're drawing it down towards you, but you can go back and just touch that up that little bit. So those all look good. Okay, so we have all our vertical lines now on our collar. And from there I kind of just start on his shirt, and I didn't start right where one started. I kind of went in between. And then I would come down further and then just kind of line that one up right there. And I don't pay attention to that top. I just want those that same distance. And I'm just going to go straight down here. And I got to kind of turn him so I can make that that the same width. So now we're coming to our sleeve. So now our sleeve, I don't want to go straight down because you want to think about how the fabric would be. So actually the fabric would have a turn into it. So that's why I'm going to put a turn into it here. So I'm going to start here, try to get that same distance. And then kind of where his elbow is here, we're going to turn. And I just want to widen this corner out a little bit because it got a little thin on me. And now we'll come to the next one and do the same distance again. And I'm just drawing it towards me. Again, we have that elbow, so that fabric would be turned. Okay, and now we're kind of to the back one here. So you don't have to measure it and get it that exact. I just kind of eyeball it. And now we're back to that elbow where a turn would be again, kind of where that's how the fabric would be. If you went and put on a plaid shirt, those lines wouldn't come straight down. They're going to have that turn in them because that, I don't know, I guess I know that because I sew too, so I know that those fabric, it would turn, it wouldn't be going straight down. Now we join those up. So now when I look at this, this is kind of a little bit wide here. I'd actually put a little bit of one in here because we have this, he's probably got more shirt material on the end of his sleeve than he did up at the top. So we're just going to put that extra little stripe in there, and we won't do it on the top part because that's okay. So from there I actually come and do another sleeve, or we'll start here and do this one first. We'll put one right in the middle. And I just turn it around. So it's really hard to pull that down. So I'm actually going to just flip him around, and now I can pull it towards me. And I can get that nice square beginning on both ends by doing that like that. We can touch this one up a little bit. So now we'd probably have one right here. But it's going to be a short one because now his little carrot's right there in the way. And now we do that same spacing again, and now we're going to have that nice curve to that arm. You want to go with that curve to the arm. You don't want to just go straight down. Put that curve in it right there where his elbow is. And we'll turn him around. And we'll join it up. You can see how nice that paint flows with that thinning shade in it. So now we're going to do just try to do about your same spacing. Don't worry about looking at that up there. And we'll go about right here. Again, that curve in that elbow, you want to do that because that fabric, if it was you put your shirt on, you would have that plaid would be curved if your arm was bent. Okay, so now we have a little bit of room here, but we have a lot of room here, so I'm actually going to start at this end, looking at the spacing that it would be here, and I'm going to bring it probably right there and then come off and not actually go all the way up. You just want to keep that spacing kind of the same. So we kind of have our curve right there, but now it's going to kind of angle right off and be a shorter line because it's tucked up under his arm. So that's that one. And now we're going to come and do our lines here. So I want to look at this, so I want to make sure I have a line in each area. So I'll probably start in the middle here. And then we'll put one in the middle here so that there's something in there. And then I'm just going to start from the other end so I have that nice square end again. And same thing here to kind of finish it off so it's nice and square. And then we will come over. So now I want to come back up to my top, and I'd probably have just a little bit showing right here. Just a touch. And then that would bring that down here. And then if we did that same spacing over on the other side, we'd be about right there. So that one's a little bit longer. And then we're going to have just a little, we're not going to come all the way down to the bottom. We're just going to have a little bit of one here, because then it gets tucked under his little arm. So that is our bright blue ones. So I'm going to wash out my brush. And let's see, number 10. Oh, looks like I did horizontal ones too, so we'll go back to and do some horizontal ones first before we switch colors. So I'm going to load up my brush again. And now I'm going to pick where I want some horizontal ones. So I kind of want one right through the middle here, maybe off center just a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of follow that curve of that shirt, that collar. And just take it all the way around. And you just want to rest that hand a little bit. Or if you're someone that doesn't rest your hand, that's okay too. You do what works best for you. We're just going to work our way around our collar. So a collar is actually a straight piece of material when you cut it out, so that's why I'm doing that, following that collar. Once you sew that on, that's what gives it its curved look, but actually the fabric itself is a straight piece of material. So now we're back to our front. So I got to turn him around so I can square up this front here. So there he's got kind of a little plaid started. So now we'll work our way around. That's such a little area there, I won't do that, but now that I'm looking, I should probably bring my sleeves up here a little bit. So I'm bringing this line up a little bit because it just looked empty in there. And let's see, the other side's okay. So I'm not going to put another little line in there. I'll come over here and I'm going to, so you could, if you want to do 2 lines, you could do one here and one here. If you just want to do 1 line, you can come more in the middle. So I'm just going to do 1 line. So now I'm kind of doing my horizontal line, and I'm going to come right around the back of his sleeve. brought it to the back of the sleeve there. And now I'll come kind of to the right to the bottom of that center front. And then we can come around the sleeve again. I'm just going to square up my little beginning here because the sleeve's kind of overlapping the front of the shirt there, so we'll just get it right there. So I asked how we find last year's bisque. Go back and look at the past videos. So Courtney will take care of that for you guys. You can go back and look at the videos, or you can go on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. I think she's got the past boxes. Courtney says she'll put pictures on there for you guys. So now we're just going to keep going down his little sleeve here and doing our horizontal lines. So I'm going to actually, I like my square beginning, so I'm going to start there on the inside sleeve and then kind of just join these two up. And now we'll do the same, come with our last one here on the front. And your spacing don't have to be exact. It's just, as long as it's kind of close. Again, I like to start and then join those two up so I have a nice straight line there. So now we have a pretty big space here, so we're going to put one more in here. So I'm not going to start way over there. I'm going to just kind of start right where it would be the right width and then bring it to the edge. So that's one arm is done. So now when you're, you want to be careful so you don't get your fingers in wet paint. So we'll do a couple across his back here now, kind of right through the middle of that one. And now when I'm looking at the arm and the back, I'm actually going to put it in the middle of these two instead of like joining them up, just to give it a little more character or a little more interest. And then I want to look where this one would come across over here. And then we'll have another one come across the bottom and across over here. And then we'll join it up here. Just square up those ends. I like those nice squared up ends. Okay, so now we'll just keep going right around to our next sleeve. I'm probably going to start on the front here. And I'll actually put one line down the middle here too. Looks like it needs something. And we'll start in the middle. And we'll just bring it right around that sleeve. You can see that how nice that thinning shade keeps that paint thin, how nice it flows out of your brush. So hopefully you guys find that useful. So now we have to move down till about right here where the carrot is, because there's no shirt before that. And just keep turning him. And I kind of keep coming back to the front and then going to the back. That's just my way of, I guess, making sure the front looks good. So that one got a little wide, but that's all right. those two up. And then we'll probably put one little one down here yet. Bring it to there. So that is your bright blue. Now I can wash my brush out. Okay, so from our bright blue, we are going to go with our medium blue. So we're going to do the same thing. Take a drop of medium blue. And we're going to add a drop of our thinning shade. And it's just a drop. It's not, hopefully you can see that. We'll bring it up. It's just a drop. And we'll mix that up because that's going to thin that out so that'll flow really nice when we're painting those lines. And it'll still be opaque and not transparent as though we add water to it. So now we can do the same thing. Load that brush up, draw it through it, do those quarter turns. Load that up really good. I like to touch it on my paper towel and then go back. So now we're just going to put stripes in between. If it's too thin, if it seems like it wants to run, it's a little thin, wanted to run, I'm just going to go to the outside of my pile here where it's a little thicker. You can add another drop of your medium blue if you want. Which that's what I'm going to do. I got it a little too thin, so it doesn't take much of a drop of the thinning shade. So now I'm just going to go in between all of my bright blue stripes with our medium blue. So they're just going right in the middle of those, kind of the same weight or thickness or thinness. The first ones are the hardest to get because you're kind of going with the contour and stuff, but once you get those first ones in, you're just going back and kind of filling in. So I'm just going in between all of my vertical bright blues with the medium blue. And then it seems like we should have one right here yet, so we'll add one there. So we'll do all our horizontals, or verticals I should say, we're doing verticals. And I'm just putting them in between all of the previous horizontal verticals. Going right over the top. We'll add a little one right there. And you want to add that same curve here. Just going in between each one. And you just eyeballing it, kind of making sure it's in the center. And then just kind of going with that curve of that arm. And sometimes you got to turn it so you can get to where you need to get that brush in there. Well, that one's way off, but we'll just bring it back around here. And just make an extra one. So you do want to watch that. You line them up better than that, but at least it's on the back. So now we will keep going with our medium blue here in between. Sometimes they're little lines, sometimes they're longer lines. Just kind of got to eye up where they would kind of go. It usually works best to draw that brush towards you. Versus pulling it away. We're going to get nice square ends here. And I'm going to widen that up because I got the bottom wider. So plaids aren't hard, it's just getting that first spacing and kind of going with the curves of the body. So it makes that shirt look like it's actually like on him and moving with him. Okay, so we have verticals all the way around. And now we'll put in a few horizontals here. And they're just in between those blues again, in between the bright blues. And I won't do every one this time because we'll put some white in there. I guess I will. What the heck? We'll have lots of plaids. Now we don't have a whole lot of room here, but we'll go right towards the edge, top edge. And then right around the top of his arm. And across his back. I'm just going in between. The collar has plenty on it, so we won't do any more on the collar. Just doing our medium blue in between our bright blues that are horizontal. And I go in with the shape of the arm here. Hopefully you can see well enough. And we'll start right there because that's kind of where the plaid goes off the sleeve. And just a tip down there. And maybe just a little one up here. Okay, we'll wash out our brush and we'll go to white. And we'll get a drop of white. And just a little drop of our thin in shade because I had too much last time. And it looks like I got a bunch again. So that's way too much, so let's start with a new pile over here. We just want a little bit. So I kind of just let it fall out. I really don't squeeze the bottle, just kind of let that drop create on the end of the dispenser there and then let it kind of drop out, because you don't need a lot. Okay, so now we have white. So now we'll put some white in there. And we'll just kind of go here and there with the white. It kind of all depends how much white you want. And we'll just put some on the collar here to start out with. I'm kind of going every other one instead of every one. Work our way right back around the front here. Get that out of the way so I don't get my fingers in it. And now we'll put a little white one in here. And we'll put a white one like in every other one. Well, that's really all there is to doing your plaids. So skip one, do one, or you could do every one. But the thin and shade is really useful because you can see it just makes that paint flow really, really nice out of your brush. That would be, you could use your thin and shade if you're thinning your paint for your eyes and eyelashes. That would work good for that too. Instead of using water, you can use your thin and shade for that. Just doing every other one here. And we'll put one in the middle here. And then every other one kind of in the back, unless you have a bigger hole and you want to fill it up like I did right there. My paint isn't in my brush, so I'm getting split ends here. We'll get another one through that there. And one through there. And Courtney's yawning. So hopefully you guys try your plaids because they're really not that hard. It's just takes a little time. Get another one here. And then we need a couple horizontal ones. You can kind of see where there may be a bigger space that you'd want a horizontal one, and kind of put it in here and there. Or if you want a lot of plaid, you can put it in every one. I kind of just did it here and there. Oh, they want to see it closer? Okay. As far as what it looks like when it's done, or as I'm painting it? Hold on. So I'm just putting some horizontal ones in now. I'm not going in every one. So hopefully you guys can see it. So I actually put a horizontal one on his collar because it looks like he needs a little more up here. So you kind of go, the white I use kind of to fill in where it looks like it needs something. Because I don't measure them off when I do them, I just kind of eyeball them. We'll get a few more in. So hopefully you guys try your thin and shade, because it's actually a really nice product. It makes your paint flow really nice, and if you're someone that does a lot of shading and stuff, like, it'll work good for that because it'll keep your colors wet longer instead of drying like instantly. So you can do a lot of shading and blending. So we're just adding a few horizontal or vertical white lines here just to make it look kind of plaid all the way around. Kind of going with the white where it looks like it needs something. Or it might need another line, just go with your white then. Let's see here. Kind of fix this little boo-boo here. Okay, so there is your plaid. We could probably put another one in here because it looks like he's just got one and it looks a little strange. Okay, so there's your plaid. Just kind of every other one or every third one. Just going vertical and then horizontal. So that is your plaid. And I think that's probably where we'll call it good for tonight. And then next week we can hopefully finish these guys. We're getting pretty close. Give us a thumbs up if you're liking the plaid and maybe think it's not as hard as you thought it was. Hopefully showing you how to do it helped. I do like to do it last though, so I don't have to touch it up in case I get paint all over it. But we'll be careful and we won't get paint all over it, and it'll be good. And we just have the watering can, the carrots, the faces, the other carrot, and the birdhouse. So we should get done early next week, and we can probably unbox our next box and get started with that. So if anyone wants those, you can just go on brendasbrushstrokesandbisque.com and you can still purchase that box yet. We have a few of those yet. You guys can base coat your pieces, and I don't recall offhand what we use. Probably just black. Check your instructions sheet, but next week go ahead and you can base coat your pieces for next week too. Your fairy houses and your your little Evas. I think they're painted black, but if you look at your instructions that are in your box, you can get started with those. And then we'll definitely finish these guys up next week and get going with that box. And hope you guys have a great week and enjoy our spring weather and April showers and bringing May flowers. What? And I'll be at the classroom on Saturday if you want to come and check us out if you're local. So We're there from 10 to 4 on Saturdays and 10 to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. So have a great week, you guys. Enjoy your bunnies and enjoy your plaid painting, and don't be afraid to give it a try. And if you're get your paint mixed too thin, just make a new batch and use very little of the thinning shade. It goes a long ways. All right, bye everyone. Thank you.